Hey, Dinarland Ninja here. Today is Friday, January 31st, 2020. This is Dinarland highlights from January 30th. Frank 26 from KTFA says, a lock, in my opinion, was scheduled by the CBI to announce to the citizens the new category notes, the descriptions of them, the exchange rate, the reason for the removal of the 3 zeros, everything. But every weekend there seems to be something that stops it. In my opinion, right now, the CBI is huddling up with all its banks, and everything Alok was about to release is what they're reviewing and going over. They know everything they want to do. Ironically, the only thing they don't know is a date. From Jeff, what is the deficit? They told us in the news it's simply the reforms, which is the number one thing the demonstrators are requesting and seeking. The demonstrators want reforms. The reforms are the deficit within the budget. That's post-rate change. You have a lot of post-rate change steps in the 2020 budget, proving to you that the 2020 budget is married to the rate change and can only happen after the rate has changed. That's why they're delaying this 2020 budget. They said they're delaying the budget due to the formation of the government, but that's a complete lie. They're trying to use formation of the government as an excuse or scapegoat. They can't tell you everything. In reality, they can't approve the budget until after the rate change. Mark Z said very little news last night. Zurich is still waiting, sitting in a conference room, waiting on the release. I'm looking for things to start happening in the next 2 days. Okay, from Adam, Montana, an article says Iraq cannot access $5 billion of its energy money in Iraq. Official. A quote from the article, Iran's money from the exports of gas and electricity has piled up to $5 billion in a bank account in Iraq, but Tehran cannot transfer it because the U.S. sanctions, an official says. U.S. sanctions are starting to play a huge role in separating Iran and Iraq, and anyone who thinks we don't have a hand in this is simply not looking at the whole picture. Okay, from Mountain Goat, in April 2012, the currency auctions has increased daily from 150 million to 400 million, and the money was being funneled to Syria and Iran. Today we know that in 2019 alone, nearly $40 billion was stolen out of the CBI this way. So the corruption with the currency auctions has already begun, and even back in 2012 has been ongoing since. So could this be why Maliki wanted to halt redomination Dr. Shabibi was moving ahead with? Shabibi's plans to redominate would have stopped the currency auctions and ended this piggy bank for Iran and Syria. Fast forward to 2020. Could this be why Iran insists on having a pro-Iranian prime minister? Could this be why the CBI is deadly afraid of conducting redenomination without the full support of the GOI and the prime minister? So how can we fix this mess? They must select a new prime minister that is pro-Iraqi and not go along with this plan to block the project to delete the zeros and redenominate the currency reform by Iran anymore. At this junction in Iraq, the currency reform is a critical reform needed now if Iraq is to move ahead with reconstruction and attracting investors. It's needed for the deal with China, and don't forget the same sort of deal is also on the table with the U.S. So the protesters have been told by the CBI this demand is coming shortly and would have happened if not for this mess. So how long will the protesters wait for this demand to happen? There is still a ton of gold at the end of the rainbow for us, but we have to wait until the storm is over. Okay, from Foot Forward, article quote, Sirun and Fatah coalitions agree on nomination of Mohammed Alawi as next PM. Mohammed is the guy we want. A lot of news going around. I do expect Alawi to be the next PM. Question, did you think we'll see Dr. Shabibi involved in the new government? Answer, I sure hope so, but it doesn't look like it at the moment, but that can change. They may make him the finance minister. And that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in.